What if the person who shaped you most was the one who wasn't there? Not the parent who raised you, not the one who packed your lunch or helped with homework, but the one who left, or who was physically present, but emotionally completely gone. An absent father doesn't just leave a gap in your childhood, he leaves a gap inside of you, one that you've been trying to fill ever since, in relationships, in your career, in how you see yourself. And here's what nobody tells you. You might not even realize he's still running the show. Let me describe someone. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You work incredibly hard for approval, from bosses, from partners, from people who barely know you. You crave validation, but when you get it, it never quite lands. It evaporates almost immediately, and you're back to chasing it again. You struggle to trust people, especially people who say they love you. Some part of you is always waiting for them to leave. So sometimes you leave first, before they get the chance. You either avoid conflict completely, shrinking yourself to keep the peace, or you swing the other way. You test people, push them, just to see if they'll stay. And deep down, underneath everything, there's this quiet question you've been carrying for years. Was I not enough for him to stay? If any of that resonated, this video is for you, because what you're experiencing isn't a personality flaw, it's a pattern. And it started long before you had any say in the matter. Here's what's happening psychologically. A father isn't just a parent. In early childhood, a father represents something enormous. He is your first experience of the outside world. Your mother is safety. Your father is the bridge between home and everything beyond it. When that bridge is missing, something very specific happens inside a child's mind. The child doesn't think, my father had problems. Children don't have that kind of emotional vocabulary. Instead, the child thinks, there must be something wrong with me. That thought, that single devastating thought, becomes the seed. And it grows. Psychologists call this an attachment wound. When a primary caregiver is absent, inconsistent, or emotionally unavailable, the child's nervous system registers it as a threat. Not just emotionally, biologically. The brain literally rewires itself around that absence. The child learns, people who are supposed to love me leave. Love is unreliable. I must be the problem, and that belief, coded into the nervous system before you even had words for it, follows you into every relationship you ever build. So what does this look like in adult life? It looks like choosing partners who are emotionally unavailable. Not because you enjoy suffering, but because it feels familiar. The nervous system doesn't seek happiness. It seeks what it knows. It looks like overachieving, working yourself into exhaustion, trying to earn the love and recognition you never received, believing that if you just do enough, become enough, achieve enough, someone will finally choose to stay. It looks like people-pleasing, saying yes when you mean no, making yourself small, becoming whoever you need to be, because somewhere inside, you believe your real self isn't enough to keep people around. It looks like a complicated relationship with authority. You either desperately seek approval from older men, bosses, mentors, father figures, or you deeply distrust them, sometimes both. And it looks like emotional walls. You want deep connection. You ache for it. But the moment someone gets too close, something inside you panics. Getting too close means getting hurt, so you keep a careful distance, even from the people you love most. Now here's the part most people never realize. The wound from an absent father isn't just about him. It's about what his absence taught you to believe about yourself. You didn't just lose a father. You lost your first experience of being chosen, of being worth staying for, of mattering to someone who had the freedom to leave, but didn't. Because that experience was missing, you've spent your life trying to recreate it, trying to finally get someone to stay, to choose you, to prove that you were worth it all along. But here's the painful irony. The strategies you developed to survive that childhood wound, the walls, the people-pleasing, the push-pull, the chasing, are the exact same strategies that are keeping real love out. You're protecting yourself from the very thing you need most, and none of it is your fault. You were a child. You did exactly what children do. You adapted. You survived. You created the best possible version of yourself with what you had, but you're not that child anymore. So what does healing actually look like? It starts with one very important shift. You stop asking, why did he leave? And start asking, what did I come to believe about myself because he left? Because that's where the real work is, not in understanding him, in understanding the story you've been telling yourself ever since. That story probably sounds something like, I'm too much, I'm not enough, I'm hard to love. People always leave, and the work, the real courageous work, is to question that story, to gather evidence against it, to slowly, carefully build a new belief system based on who you actually are, not who an absent man's absence told you were. This also means learning to reparent yourself, to give yourself the consistency, the validation, the unconditional presence that was missing. Therapy can be powerful here. So can relationships with safe, emotionally available people once you learn to let them in. It won't happen overnight, but it begins the moment you realize his absence was never a verdict on your worth. It was a reflection of his limitations, not yours. You've been carrying a question your whole life, a question a child asked in silence, and an adult has been answering in every relationship since. Am I worth staying for? The answer was always yes. You just learned to doubt it from someone who never should have taught you that lesson. You are not the sum of what he couldn't give you. You are everything you became in spite of it. And that is worth staying for. Healing doesn't mean you stop feeling the loss. It doesn't mean you forgive everything or pretend the absence didn't shape you. It means you stop letting that absence decide what's possible for you now. Because here's the truth about wounds like this. They don't just disappear, but they do lose their power the moment you see them clearly. The moment you name what happened and separate it from who you are allowed to grieve what you never had. That grief is real and it is valid. But you're also allowed to build something new on top of it. Not despite the wound, but with a deeper understanding of yourself because of it. The people who have done this work, who have faced the absence and chosen themselves anyway, they don't just heal. They become extraordinary at love because they know what it cost and they choose it anyway. That can be you. It already is you. You're here, aren't you? Still asking the hard questions. Still reaching for something better. That's not broken. That's brave.